Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Orthodox Mentor with Boyan. I'm the Boyan in question and I hope to answer some of your questions from my very own personal knowledge and experience. This question wasn't asked by anyone, so you have a freebie opinion of mine, and that is on yoga. There is a lot of controversy when it comes to yoga. Generally, the opinions of Christians, the clergy, I don't think that any saints especially commented on it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did, is that Christians absolutely should not do them. However, like a lot of priests in their pastoral experience allow their parishioners to do yoga on the condition that as long as the spiritual elements are removed, it's fine. And there is a sort of clash between these two currents, and I think that a lot of this clash comes from the very fact how we obtain the knowledge of different physical processes that are done while doing yoga. Let me put it this way. In my personal opinion, I think that the sign of the cross is the only objective symbol, so to speak. So the sign of the cross, because Christ died on the cross, I will slant the video again so you could see the crucifix up there, is the only objective symbol because God himself perished on the cross. The seal of Baphomet, the inverted pentagram with a ram's head, is not an objective symbol. There's nothing, so to speak, objectively satanic about it, because in the same way there's nothing objectively wrong with an inverted pentagram. There is maybe sort of something you could say that subjective about a ram's head, because a lot of satanic imagery of a goat and a ram comes from the parable of the sheep and the goats, because we, us humans, started associating the pentagram and the ram and so on with Satan. So if there was this culture, for example, that I know we didn't contact somehow, and inverted pentagrams were a major thing in their culture, and let's just assume it's not religious, even though it's very, very rarely the case, but let us assume that it's completely something secular. There's absolutely nothing wrong if it was used once that culture is Christianized. There will be absolutely nothing wrong if it was used in the ornaments and everything. Of course, people who visit from other cultures where an inverted pentagram has very bad associations will do so. Why am I telling you all of this? A lot of this is why there is this clash. When I make the sign of the cross, I work very specific muscles. It's not a tedious work, but these different groups of muscles work. Similar with yoga. When you do yoga as a spiritual practice, certain muscles and everything will work, and they will get developed or something else. A lot of there is a knowledge we obtain from these movements that come from yoga. And I think that a lot of these debates ultimately come from the fact is the way we obtain the knowledge, does it, if it comes from a bad spiritual practice, pagan spiritual practice, does it spoil and soil the knowledge we got? Like, if there is a specific movement that's done in yoga, and we, for example, found out that it's extremely good for your spine, are we never to make that movement again? In my very personal opinion, and by the way, always stick with what your priest says on this, always, I don't think that the source of our knowledge does not spoil it. I mean, I hate using this as an example, but there's a lot of medical knowledge we got from World War II. Like from the really bad, dark parts of World War II, if you know what I mean, That does not mean that the knowledge that we can use for good is completely soiled. However, similar to my previous video, despite the knowledge we receive, the fact remains that yoga is a spiritual, and when I say spiritual, I mean very bad, devil-associated spiritual practice. And I do honestly believe that people who practice yoga for different reasons should really seek out alternatives. And thanks to knowledge obtained from yoga, isn't exclusive to yoga, like just because you can make that movement, a lot of these movements are still called by, their original names. And still, we need to be aware of the fact that a lot of these movements and everything, they have very particular associations with a very specific paganistic culture, We should seek out alternatives. Yes, some of these things in these alternatives will match superficially to yoga, and again, that's with the knowledge. So yeah, this is a bit of a rambly video. Again, a lot of these videos are simply there to, start or advance or help or maybe even backtrack some conversations. So yeah, I wish if there were some kind of, personal trainer in these in the audience, and if there is, I would really like to hear what some healthy, spiritually neutral alternatives to yoga are. I think that one of the reasons I like gym, because it's so very neutral, it's just lifting heavy stuff. However, for my spine, I do these exercises that out of pure laziness, when described to some of my friends, I do these yoga-like exercises, but they're not yoga-like. They have very, stupid names, and they do help my posture a lot. But I would never advertise yoga itself. So yeah, there's that. I hope to see you guys in one of my next videos. Bye.